welcome back in as we've got internet back here in the office finally. It took us 12 hours to get internet back, and we're back here. And as the description says, we're going to finish up 4A, talk about 5A, 6A, and 7A today. Appreciate you guys watching and all the interaction that we've gotten so far here. It's been really good so far. Being able to bring this to you on your lunch break. Um, I guess we're going to do maybe Razorbacks tomorrow about this time.
Yeah, we'll try to.
I don't think we can get it in on
No,
Friday.
we're too busy.
Yeah, too much going on. So probably do Razorbacks tomorrow and look ahead to the Auburn game, which Arkansas has an opportunity to win that ball game. Although weather could play a factor in that one.
Again.
Yeah, this week is the weather looks kind of rough, and that's already affecting games around the state of Arkansas. And in fact, I've only seen two, but I'm sure there are probably others that have decided to move their games as well. Maybe in our chats right now, you can let us know if your game has moved. I have heard that there have been some games that have moved. What was it? Rogers and Bentonville's one of them. That's a conference championship, probably, or at least implications on it. There was another one yesterday that moved. I can't remember what it was. Maybe Van Buren Greenwood. I think that's what it was. So another conference championship type of ball game there that is moving. So with that being said, again, like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit the
Follow.
notification bell. Go over to YouTube and subscribe to us. And again, I keep telling you, come on and be a member with us. Be a member. That I'm telling you,
It
you want to
helps
do
us
that.
produce more content for you guys.
That's exactly right. Bill Harshaw already saying, "Let's go." Love the Audible, man.
Yeah, and shots by Reese. Great show, man. We appreciate it, dude.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is fun. This is what week 2 of really getting after this, and
Yeah,
uh,
finally got settled in,
y'all
and
showed up. Look, even with the stream that we couldn't finish yesterday because of internet issues, we got over 10,000 views on that on
it's
Facebook
wild.
alone. It's awesome.
It's wild for
Uh,
sure.
so really appreciate you guys being here with us.
And the interaction. It's always good to have that
Yes.
that interaction there. So,
Yeah, we talk back. Not
right.
everybody does that. We will talk back directly to you, even during live games.
Yeah.
We try to make it a point to get your comments in there and gosh, give feedback. That's what we love it during games. It's awesome.
Well, we are official that we will be at Prescott. That game, from my understanding, has a 0.0% chance of moving,
Yep,
and so it looks like that's going to be a Friday game,
conference
uh,
championship for there.
and that's a 3A7 conference title game. I mean, I guess Smackover still has an opportunity to get in there. That would be with a Prescott win and a Smackover win over Prescott, and then you've got a three-way tie at that point. But then you get down to points, and
Yep,
Bismarck won by a lot of points against Smackover.
they
So
did.
anyway, but anyway, let's get to it real quick, and let's finish up in the 4A where we finished off yesterday.
We finished with Nashville. I think we stopped talking with them when we got cut off. We were really finished. Number 7 Warren is at number 10 Stuttgart. Warren's 5-2. Stuttgart's 7-0.
So Warren's trying to stay in the conference race with a win here. It's a tall task to go
It
to
is.
Stuttgart this year. Stuttgart's got it going this year for sure. Start with the young man Kane Price. Um, he's been on our radar now for quite a while. He started as a freshman there at Stuttgart, and he's just kind of moved all the way through. And now, he's got his team moving. They're scoring points there in bunches.
Yes.
Big time scoring team there at Stuttgart. And if you look at the rankings and you say, well, Warren's seventh and Stuttgart's 10th, but I feel like Stuttgart's got a really good shot at winning this ball game.
Gotta
I,
be a great one.
I think that it could be a high scoring ball game because Stuttgart will give up some points. They definitely will give up some points, but being at Stuttgart, you got to think Stuttgart's got a great opportunity to win the ball game. So
Got a bit of a home field advantage. I won't say refs, but the crowd there can get pretty wild.
with that being said, a win by Stuttgart would put Warren out of the 4A8 race, which I don't I don't have the history. How long has it been since Warren hasn't
Years.
won the 4A8 race? I
It's been a
mean,
long time.
been a while since they haven't won it, and then that would set up a conference title matchup at Hamburg in Week 10 on November the 6th. And it's a game that who knows we may show up to.
I would like to go to that game. That'll be awesome. I just want to see Nykel Lewis run that football. That
Yep.
that young man, he's having a heck of a season.
Mine froze before Nashville was mentioned on the end of the last live.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll go back to it. Give
Okay.
me just a second. Sorry about that. Let's see. Let me. All
Give
right.
us a second here.
My bad. I thought we finished with Nashville. We just started with them. Nashville's 5-2. They are taking on Harmony Grove Cardinals out of Haskell. That is at Nashville. Harmony Grove is 4-3 on the year.
Well, for Harmony Grove, if they have any chance of staying in the race for the conference, they have to win this game. Let me see here. They are no, they're 2-2, probably out of the conference race now. Big one for Nashville is you just don't want to stub your toe.
Yeah.
You don't want to lose a game like this. Is that at Nashville? Is that what you said?
Yes.
So being on the hill, the hill over there. It's a tough place to play. You got to think Nashville has got a great shot at winning that one. And then really, looking down their schedule right now, Aaron Weatherford came on Monday and said that Nashville, basically the 7-4A is Nashville's to lose. That is correct. Right now,
Hmm.
the 7-4A is Nashville's to lose. And so I would say that you're in a good spot if you're Nashville. Just don't stub your toe.
Phil said those were some words I didn't expect to hear, and I said, "Which words?" And said Warren possibly out of a conference race. Yeah, it's I mean, it'd
Hmm.
been 16 years since Hamburg beat them. That's how
Right.
long it'd been
And it
since.
may be that long or
Yeah,
longer since they haven't won the 4A8. I mean, they dominate that conference, and a conference that's a really good conference
yeah.
down there. So,
They play a good brand of football in that 4A8.
but anyway, talking about Nashville, Nashville's in a position that they haven't been in a while. They haven't been able to win that 7-4A in quite some time. So that's a conference that they used to dominate down there, and they're used to dominating.
Hmm.
And so they're. I'm sure that they're fired up. I'll tell you what, I'm high, 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 high on your coach down there. I really am. I think you guys have got a guy that can lead you not only this year but into the future. I really look for Nashville to be a player in that 7-4A.
Yeah, they're pretty good football. I mean, they beat Arkadelphia. I mean, say what you will, but they had to be there to win it, and they
That's
they
right.
they held they held Arkadelphia down, played great defense, and came up with the dub.
And I do wonder right now if Nashville might not be playing the best ball in
Mm,
the 4A right now. I
very
mean,
well could be.
the question, right now your Dardanelle's your number one. I don't know if Dardanelle is what I would call struggling, but they're definitely getting challenged right now, which I think some of that has to do with
They're going to
with
get
them.
challenged this week for
Y-
sure.
Yeah, with them being with the conference being better, I really think that that's part of that. And you're right; they're going to be challenged this week. Who do we have at two there? Arkadelphia,
Yeah,
and then the 7-4A. Arkadelphia. We know they're good. Southside there at number three. They're playing that conference title game against Gosnell. Elkins right now is a team that also has lost to Dardanelle. I sit here and look at it and think, you just looking at their scores, think, man, they might be playing as good or as better than anybody. And
really.
then you got Hamburg. Nykel Lewis is just about unstoppable. And
I
then,
wouldn't want to try to
I
tackle his
mean,
butt.
Clinton is a team right now that nobody really talks about that much, and
Nope.
and they're a really good
Which is a
football team.
mistake. They have two exceptional running backs.
Yeah.
I won't say they're the fastest guys out there, but good luck tackling them with one guy. You're just
And
not going to do it.
the Gosnell folks, I'm sure they're going to let me know if they win that game against Southside. That's for
Yeah,
sure. And then Stuttgart at 10. I mean, it's deep. 4A is very deep this
yeah,
year for
it
sure.
really is. We'll move on. Last game for the 4A. You got number 8 Clinton. They're 6-1 hosting Waldron. They're 0-7. The Bulldogs struggling this year.
Not a lot to say about that one.
Nope.
I mean, unless something crazy happens, Clinton's going to come away with the victory. They're going to stay in the top 10, and just keep on rolling down to the end. What is Clinton's schedule? I know Ozark is the last game. Who do they have next week?
Let me look.
I don't know why I'm asking you when I can pull it up myself right here.
Because I'm faster typing than you are.
Are you? Are
Yeah,
you?
I'm
Are
much
you? Are
faster.
you? Are
They
you?
got Mina.
Okay, so Mina and Clinton, and then Ozark. Mina's a tricky game. Is it at Mina? It is, and then
It
they're
is
at
at
Ozark.
Mina and at Ozark.
So my worry, if I was Clinton a little bit, I'd be a little bit worried the fact that you've really kind of play two games that are against lesser teams. Been an easier road for you, and then you're going to have to ramp it back up, go to Mina, and get a win. I could see that being a trap game next week, but
Yeah, a little bit. I
we'll
hope
get
that
to
they
that.
can't catch themselves looking ahead to Ozark there. Mina's a good football team too.
Where are we setting up shop this week? We'll be at Prescott for Prescott Bismarck in the 3A7 de facto championship, it looks like.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty good game. We love doing Bismarck games. They are fun to watch. They have been every time we've been there. They're well supported by their community.
Great
So
supporters of
yeah,
us.
great supporters of us. They've always been there to help us help
Yep.
put the streams out. So
We love being. I mean, there's not a place that we've been right now that I say,
yeah, not
not
really.
not too many anyway.
No, yeah, really. I mean, bad experiences with people. No, maybe the facilities hadn't been
Right.
great, but I mean, you get some of these small towns, they're just not always going to be. So, all right, that's it for the 4A. Let's get moved on to the 5A. We're going to start with,
Should be at Southside for Southside Gosnell. So Tyson, we did actually think about doing that. Um, the last time we did a Southside game, we had to be on top of the booth, and we're not against being on top of the booth, but this week is not a place that you or a time that you want to be on top of the
not
booth.
at all.
You want a shelter this
Yeah.
week. It looks like
All
so.
right, first up in the 5A, number one Robinson. They're 7-0, hosting another unbeaten team, Cersei. They're number five.
That's the game of the week, and we just named Jacob Miles of Cersei our D3 Auto Sales MVP of the week. Be on the lookout here. We've still got Team of the Week. We've still got our Metcalf Trucking Player Spotlight that we're going to be putting out as well. But our D3 Auto Sales MVP was Jacob Miles. He had 1,400 votes in that contest there. So
Yep.
anyway, he's man, sophomore quarterback. He's doing some really good things there at Cersei. And man, Coach Zach Clark has got those guys rolling. This is definitely a big time ball game there in the 5A Central. Obviously, you've still got Maumelle in it, but right now you look at these two teams, they're probably maybe a step ahead of Maumelle. I guess we'll see.
Half step at least.
We'll see what happens, but man, this is a great matchup here in this conference. And Robinson, they've got the athletes everywhere, and
Yeah.
how can you overcome that? That's the question. Cersei, the biggest game that they've played so far has been Valley View. Nobody expected them to win that game. And this one is a little bit even tougher than that one, with Robinson being the team that looks like the 5A uh, favorite right
Yep.
now. But if Cersei wins that, then I think that you start opening it up and you could say Robinson, you could say Cersei, you could say Lakeside, and Greenbrier. I think right now, looking at those four, would probably be your best four in the conference there. Parkview's coming up as well, so that's a team to watch. It's not quite at the top of the heap right now. What do we got on
Oh,
comments?
shots by Reese saying Tank Reese is 20 tackles against BB for Robinson. That's
Wow,
that's a big game.
wow, that's unreal.
Yeah.
Shots by Reese Tank Reese. I wonder if there's
Yeah.
any
Yeah,
connection
yeah.
there, right?
Couldn't be.
Hey, I love it though. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, talking about the 4 earlier, Skolarski's dad, he was in here talking about him from Ozark and it's love having parents getting feedback with us. It's
Yes,
awesome.
yes.
All right, next game up, we're another unbeaten number 2 Greenbrier. They're hosting Pea Ridge, who's 1-6. Going to be a tough one for Pea Ridge.
Man, Greenbrier is also, right now maybe one of their best teams, and they need to take advantage of that because it looks like they're going to be moving up to
Yeah.
6A next year. So right now, Greenbrier is a team that seems to be bouncing back and forth between 5A and 6A every cycle, and this time it looks like they're going to go back up. Of course, they've still got to put private schools in, and then that starts bumping people down. And the rumor is that Greenwood's going down from 6A to 5A.
What?
Yes, yes.
How?
Well, I mean, it's all about population. It's all about
Oh,
student population outside of the private schools. The private schools are the ones that have the competitive equity deal where they get
wow.
points, playoff points, and all that. So anyway, so as they start putting private schools in, they're going to start bumping teams down, and so these bottom feeder, they're not bottom feeder, but bottom teams in these classes are going to get bumped down to be in the top teams of the other classes as far as population goes. So we'll see. But Greenbrier's got a great team this year. Um, as to my memory, I can't remember Greenbrier being ranked this high. They've been solid for a while, but I'm
Yeah.
talking about right now. Greenbrier is way better than what I've known them to be, and they've been good. They've been really good at times, but right now they're really, really, really good, and they've come through the gauntlet of the 5A West. You know, P Ridge is probably not going to beat them unless something crazy happens. They're just probably not going to do it. Greenbrier right now, I think, is a legitimate state title contender.
Yeah, they are. They're playing really solid football right now. Moving on, number 3, Lakeside. They are 6-1. They're at the Queen, who's 3-4.
You know, again, I think DeQueen is improved this year, but man, they're about to get a steady dose of it. I mean,
Yeah.
we had Wally Walcott in our D3 Auto Sales MVP voting. I looked at his numbers. He threw for 417 and 4 touchdowns. I didn't
Jesus.
realize that he did that in the first half.
What?
He did that in the
Oh
first
my
half.
gosh.
I didn't realize that. I mean, we don't get that kind of information a lot of times. I mean, sometimes we do,
Yeah.
but Wally Walcott really, I mean,
Good Lord.
he's legit. He's legit. And I mean, Lakeside over the last 2 seasons has been legit. Enoch is an absolute beast. You're right. He is absolutely a beast. No doubt about that. Um, so, with that said, they're again kind of one of those games. There's not a lot to say about. You feel like Lakeside, they got every opportunity to win the ball game, and unless something crazy happens, they will.
Moving on, number 4, Farmington. Coach Toss got them boys rolling. I think they're 5-2. Morrilton 6-1.
Beyond the Searcy and Robinson game, this is the second best game in the state. This was a game last year that went 78-75.
Golly.
Yeah, and I mean neither team could stop the other. And the Morrilton quarterback threw for over 700 yards in that game.
Good night.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
and
ridiculous.
I mean they couldn't stop each other, and what ended up happening in that game was the loser of that game, which ended up being Morrilton, ended up having to go to Valley View in the second round, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah.
and that ended up being enough to knock them out of the playoffs. So Farmington ended up riding that win all the way into the state finals last year with that victory. And so there's a lot riding on this, even though this is not a conference title game at this point, with Greenbrier winning like they have. Right now, this is for the 2 seed in the conference after Morrilton came back and beat Harrison last week. Morrilton was down quite a bit. They came back and won that game 38-34. Last, I don't know, it was like last 25, 30 seconds touchdown to put them ahead. So right now, this is playoff positioning. You got number 2 on the line with this win. Whoever wins this one, so this is probably going to be 2-3. And then in that conference right now, you've got Harrison and Valonia, who we're not really talking about that one right now. They're playing. The winner of that one has the inside track for the 4 seed out of that conference. I think that the conference this year, 5A West, is a little bit stronger
Yep.
than it has been in the recent years. You remember when the 5A West, which used to be the 4A West and even the 3A West way back in the day, that was a very, very strong group of teams.
It was.
Always the best conference out of the West.
Really. It was a brutal, brutal run
Yeah,
just to win a conference
but
title.
it isn't, and it hasn't been over the last few years. But the West this year is a lot stronger, a lot deeper because really Valonia and Harrison are there. Alma's also there, even though they're 2-5, they're still a decent team there, and so they really go 6 deep in that conference.
Next up, who we got? Number 6, Valley View. They're 6-1 at Greene County Tech, 1-6. Going to be a tough one for Greene County Tech.
Yeah, again, one of these type of games that we've talked about. It just, unless something crazy happens, you just don't see Greene County Tech being able to come through and win that ball game. Valley View has bounced back after the loss to Searcy. They haven't lost since. They're 6-1. They've dominated the 5A East over the last few years, and right now it doesn't look to be any different. They're very solid over there and positioning themselves to be the number one team in that conference. In fact, just looking at it right now, Nettleton is their only other hurdle in this conference to be that conference title. Um, Let me look here real quick. Make sure that they haven't played Harding Academy just yet. But it looks like I'm going to put that in instead. Um, it looks like that unless Valley View stubs their toe against Nettleton, then they'll end up being the conference title. But I guess let's see. Yeah, they lost to Harding Academy has already lost to Valley View, so they're not necessarily in the race unless Valley View finds a way to stumble. And then next week, well, this Friday, Harding Academy plays Nettleton, which do we have? Nettleton's not in our top 10.
Nope.
So anyway,
That's how crazy the 5A is.
yeah, yeah.
To next up, number 8, Hot Springs. They're 6-1, hosting a 0-7 Arkansas High team.
One of the things I wonder about Hot Springs is if they're underranked.
It may be.
They are really good. They're knocking some teams out, and they're on a collision course right now with Hot Springs Lakeside, which I was in the room when those two teams ended up in the same room at our preseason thing last year, and it was cold in there. They do not like each other.
They do not.
They do not
Not at
like
all.
each other there, and so that's going to be an interesting matchup. Hot Springs has only got one loss on the season. That's to Arkadelphia. I wonder if they play that game again. That was 38-34, I believe, was the final score there. I wonder if those two played again, if they wouldn't, maybe Hot Springs might not be able to squeak that one out. That might be one of those games that if you played it 10 times,
Yeah.
the one team wins five, and the other team wins five. I'm not sure. But whatever, they were able to bounce back and beat Parkview real close to that week, maybe the next week even. They were able to beat Camden Fairview, and then last week they held on for dear life. They scored 57 though in
Jesus.
that victory over Magnolia. We talked about Magnolia being a team that probably in any other conference in the state they probably make the playoffs because
Mm-hmm.
number one, most other conferences are going to take more than four, and then the only other class that takes four is 2A. They obviously would make it out of 2A,
Yeah.
you know. But just feeling like they would probably be a playoff team in anywhere else but the 5A South. Um, with that being said, Hot Springs really doing work right now and playing 0-17 with Texarkana. I mean, you're probably not going to see much different than what's happened
No,
here.
don't
And
think so.
again, it's just at this point, you got Lakeside and Hot Springs, and it looks like they're going to match up for the conference in on week 10. So it's going to be interesting.
Got a comment, James Bowsley asking if we did 3A yet. Yes, 3A was yesterday. If you want to tune into that stream. Uh, all right, moving on. Talking about Parkview, they're our number 9 team. They're 4-3, hosting the 3-4 Magnolia Panthers.
Well, Parkview, I think is playing better. I think that they hit a lull in the season. Of course, if you look at their conference,
Brutal.
their schedule, I should say, it was brutal.
Bryant, Benton,
Right.
back
So,
to back.
so their two losses, Bryant and Benton. Now, in the past, Parkview has won, even beat Bryant.
Mm-hmm.
Really, Parkview is the only team in like 7 years that's beaten Bryant in state. So, that's obviously a feather in their cap. But we're saying right now that they're not quite the team that they've been in the past. But that said, as well, they're
Only
right now
only
they're
conference loss is Hot Springs.
and look at their scores. That
52-6, 64-7, 42-14 the last
but
3 games.
but let's look at the teams that they played too.
Yeah. Uh,
That
Bryant they lost 6-49.
yeah,
Benton 0-0 to
and
30.
that just ain't
Yeah,
that
it's
just
a
ain't the Parkview team that we've known.
nope.
Now, with that said, they've had three tune-ups: DeQueen, Hope, and Arkansas High. Those three teams are not nearly in the class at what they've got left: Magnolia, Lakeside, and Camden Fairview. Much better teams, but I think if Parkview maybe they've got that confidence back, we'll
Yep.
find out when they play Magnolia. I have said that Magnolia is out of the conference race. I guess with a win and then three losses in a row by Parkview, I guess they could still be in the conference race. It just doesn't seem
They
likely.
have to beat Parkview, DeQueen, and Hope all back.
Which they
It's
should. I
doable.
mean, they
Yeah.
should win the last two. It's going
Mm,
to be Parkview, and then what happens after that with Parkview.
yeah.
So anyway, but it doesn't look good for Magnolia, but still, I guess outside shot there with a win against Parkview.
Always a chance.
Right?
Moving on, last game in the 5A, number 10 Mall Mill. They're 5-2. They're at Whitehall, who's 1-6. Whitehall
Maumell's playing.
struggling.
Maumell's playing pretty good right
They are.
now, and they're in that conference race there in the Central. They still have not played. They haven't played Cersei. I don't think they've played Rob. Well, they haven't played Robinson either.
No.
So the last 2 weeks they got Cersei and Robinson. Of course, Robinson and Cersei
Brutal.
are playing each other this week. So Maumelle, you're going to find out what they're made of pretty quick here. They've been able to win the games that they should. This one at Whitehall is another one that they should win. I'm a little surprised at Whitehall right now. Daryl Patton has had proven success down there, not down there, but in his career, just about wherever he's gone. I don't know the situation, so I don't know. I know they've been through a lot down there. They lost Ryan Mallett as their head coach, in the tragic drowning accident that he had. Um, and then, they lost a basketball coach too. I mean, just it was a very, very terrible situation there.
Yeah,
Um,
Whitehall is just their community who's suffering
yeah,
right now.
no
Just
doubt
hurting.
about it. So, you wonder what's going on there. I wonder if Patton can get it turned around. I mean, if anybody can, you'd think he could. So, anyway, this is a game that Maumelle should win and win fairly easily.
All right, that does it for the 5A. Moving on to the 6A. We're going to start with number 1 Greenwood. They're 7-0 hosting a 5-2 Van Buren squad.
So, of the games that I have noticed that have moved up on Thursday, this is one of them. And Greenwood is still playing an undefeated team in Van Buren. And this is a little bit of a surprise here that Van Buren is undefeated. That
Conference.
that's right. They are undefeated in conference. Who did they lose to? Was it Greenbrier that they lost to? I believe it is.
They're going to win this one.
Yep. Just to show you I can.
You were already starting before I did, so don't even start.
Oh, so Van Buren's actually 5-2 on the year. Um, their losses are to Springdale, 7A Springdale, and then Greenbrier, 34-48. This is where you're going to find out how much better Greenbrier has been. The thing about this, I'm sorry, Van Buren. The thing about this is in this game is they came off a good win. Well, they've come off two wins that you wouldn't expect Van Buren to get in recent years. And
Yeah.
that's Lake Hamilton. They beat them 36-7, turned around and beat Southside last week 17-10.
Mm,
Southside have won 8 of the last 9 in that series, and now Van Buren bounced back. So I think Van Buren's playing better than what they were earlier in the year. Both Springdale and Greenbrier are pretty good teams, especially when you're stepping up in competition in the 7A. That's tough. We know that Greenbrier is one of the top teams in 5A, so those two losses are good losses there. Um, the thing is with them right now, Van Buren, they've got the gauntlet left. They've got
yeah.
Greenwood, Mountain Home, and Shiloh Christian.
Jesus.
What you need to do if you're Van Buren is win this one tonight. If you're going to do it, which 73 in a row now, 74 in a row, whatever it is, at Greenwood. Obviously, that's another tall task, but you can put things on their ear by winning that game.
Yep.
If you can figure out how to win that one, then you can kind of change the narrative of the conference. Go into the Mountain home game. That's a home game, which they're very good as well, and try to stay with it. And then you go to Shiloh Christian. I'm going to say right now, no matter what happens, they're not going to win all three of those games.
No, there's just no chance.
Um, and they're likely, really, if you want to call anybody an underdog, they're underdog in all three of those games. But I think they're a good team. I think they've come back around. It's just the fact that now you're playing the top three in the conference 3 weeks in a row. Take them one game at a time. See if you can build some confidence by pulling off the big one here at Greenwood. But I think Greenwood's also playing well or better than
Yep.
they did to start off the season.
All right, next up, Talking about them, number two Shiloh. They're 5-2, hosting a 2-5 Salem Springs team.
Not much to say in this one.
Nope.
Not much to say in this one. Shiloh's going to win this one most likely, unless something crazy happens.
I hope
I
something
think.
crazy happens.
I think. I think Siloam Springs is a better football team than they were. I think they were playing with a little bit more confidence early. Siloam is still in the running for a playoff spot. They've got.
Mathematically.
Well, you get six. Remember that.
Yeah,
You get six in this conference. So somebody of Shiloh, Lake Hamilton, and Russellville, one of those three is going to make the playoffs. So there's got to be two that's going to be left out. And
I
they
don't think Russell was making the playoffs.
Russellville competed with Van Buren really hard. They played them tough. They played them tough, and so Russellville, of the teams that have played the schedules that they have, Russellville's actually played the toughest schedule in the
They
league.
have.
Playing Greenwood, playing Mountain Home, playing Shiloh already. Yes, those scores do not look good, but if you go back to September to the 26th, they played Van Buren 49-42.
Yep.
That's actually a little closer than Greenbrier played them. Of course, Greenbrier played Russellville and beat the dog out of them. So, but that being said, so they're not totally out of it either. Siloam and Russellville playing each other next week. I mean, that's a playoff elimination game.
That's true.
Believe it or not, with Russellville being 0-7 right now, that is a playoff elimination game. So,
Man.
with that said, Shiloh wins tonight.
Yeah, I think so. Next up, number three Mountain Home. They're 6-1, hosting a 2-5 Lake Hamilton squad. More the same.
Yeah, I mean, this one is probably a little bit different in the way that Lake Hamilton, of those teams that we're talking about, where Lake Hamilton isn't quite as good on paper, their record isn't as good. They've also played a tougher part of the schedule. This is their last part of that schedule, playing Shiloh, Greenwood, and Mountain Home. Uh, actually, no, they still have Greenwood. Never mind.
Ooh,
Actually, no, I'm sorry, that's Mountain Home. I apologize. So, um, they let me look here. Let me just pull it
the
up.
button says
Yes,
schedule right
yes,
there, man.
I'm getting it. Lake Hamilton. Oh no, they have Shiloh left as well.
Ooh.
But they still have enough games that game at Russellville could end up being for their playoff spot. If I'm not mistaken, and I'm not very mistaken very often. I'm just kidding. Totally kidding. I believe Lake Hamilton won this game last year. Mountain Home pulled off the upset with Shiloh, and Mountain Home was sitting in a good spot to finish in the two spot in that conference. And Lake Hamilton turned around and won that game. The only thing that I say about this game right here, more than anything, think about the distance that they have to travel to play this game. You're talking about playing out of South
No,
Hot Springs all the
uh,
way to Mountain Home. Nope,
no. Mountain
nope.
Home won 36-0 last year.
Okay,
Was the year before?
maybe. I don't know.
It don't matter. Yeah, it was the year before.
Okay. So
It's 2 years ago. Yeah.
anyway, with that said, Mountain Home's got a great shot at winning this game. Um, I think that you're going to see a lot more stuff play out in this conference in the next couple weeks.
Yeah. Just it's almost playoff time,
Yes,
bro.
sir.
Until we're getting there. And what? God, it's got to be the shocker of the state. Number four, Sylvan Hills. They're 6-1, taking on number six, Jonesboro, 4-3.
This is a big game.
It's a very big
Huge,
game for Sylvan Hills.
huge game. It's not just for Sylvan Hills. It's for Jonesboro as
Oh
well.
yeah, true. But
This is can I say it's de facto because you still have some teams in the mix right now. I'm going to pull up the schedule here for Jonesboro. Jonesboro is setting at 4-3, but they're also setting at one loss in the league. As of last week, there was a five-way tie at 2-1, but I think that one has worked himself out a little
yeah,
bit. You got three at 3-1 right now with Sylvan Hills, Benton, and Jonesboro. Sylvan Hills owns the schedule advantage there. Jonesboro still has El Dorado. If you win this game, if you're Jonesboro, you turn around and play a huge game against El Dorado. They've already lost to Benton, so Benton would get back into the conference talk with a win by Jonesboro this week because right now they're on the bottom side of the tiebreak with Sylvan Hills. So if you're able to win this game at home, if you're Jonesboro, biggest game that you've played in quite a while, you play another big game next week at El Dorado, and then you got West Memphis, and right now West Memphis is struggling. So season comes down to the next two games for Jonesboro. As I said for Sylvan Hills right now, Sylvan Hills has the scheduling advantage uh, in this conference, and I'm going to tell you here in just a second. They've got Sheridan and they've got Catholic
Yep.
after that. I mean, Sheridan is obviously dangerous. They can put points on the board, but Sheridan has given up 80 points twice this year. So, defensive wise, considering that Sylvan Hills can really score, by the way,
Yes, they can.
it's going to be hard for Sheridan to keep them down. So, a win tonight for Sylvan Hills, not tonight, but tomorrow night, unless they've moved it and I haven't seen it. A win this weekend will put Sylvan Hills in the driver's seat to win the conference.
The only time Sylvan Hills hasn't scored 40 or more this year was against El Dorado when we
Oh,
won
they
25 to 10.
can
It's the
they
only
can
time they
go.
didn't score 40.
They can go. And look at how much that their defense got better.
Yes, all year long.
They've got their defense has gotten better. At first they were struggling defensively. And I know you've got that Russellville, but that was an anomaly there. But look, 55-54, 46-43, 40-35, then 25-10, 55-12.
Yeah,
So I think their defense is getting better. I'm telling you right now, Sylvan Hills, I don't know what side of the bracket it is. Sylvan Hills is a dark horse to win the state
they
championship in
really are.
6A.
They got a shot. As well as they're playing football right now, which I mean surprised all of us, I think.
Yeah.
Just, props to them. They're kicking it.
Thanks to Russellville Nursing and Rehab, by the way, for sponsoring our rankings. Our rankings last week, 600,000 views on that.
Awesome.
So if you're interested in getting your name, a business name out there, that's a simple way to do it.
Last up for the 6A number 5 Benton. They're 5-2 hosting Little Rock Catholic 2-5.
Catholic struggling this year. Benton still in the conference race. Benton might not be quite as good as they have been over the last couple years, but I still think they're a pretty good
Still,
football
yeah,
team.
still a very good football team.
Man, I tell you what, Benton is well coached. Coach Harris does a great job over there. I think that they've got a real opportunity to do some good things for the rest of the year. Again, without looking at playoff brackets, I have not looked at them. I really need to spend some time looking at playoff brackets over the next couple
Yeah, we've
weeks.
just been too busy.
Right, there's been a lot going on, but I feel like Benton's in the driver's seat to win that ball game.
Benton finishes the season Catholic West Memphis Marion, so they have to take care of
Well,
business.
yeah, Marion game could be tricky.
It could, yeah. Marion it beat who was it?
Sylvan
Sylvan
Hills.
Hills, yeah, and
So Marion was right in the thick of the conference until they got beat by Jonesboro, but still not out of it right now.
no,
And probably of those teams that we're talking about, the better of the defensive teams. Now I don't know what happened to their offense last week, but they got beat 21-0. I mean, very rarely do you see shutouts anymore. So 21-0 win there. At Jonesboro, so Jonesboro took that step up.
Alrighty, where am I at? Sorry. All right, that's it for the 6A. Moving right on to 7A, we're gonna start with number 1 Bryant Hornets. They're taking on the 2-5 Cabot.
Bryant wins.
Yeah,
And until
yeah.
until
Till somebody
somebody
proves
beats
us again.
them, what
Yeah,
else can you
and
say?
even then, it's I'm gonna call it a fluke till somebody does it twice.
Well,
Just, I
I
mean,
will tell you that I think Bentonville and Rogers both have opportunities to do it this year. Maybe even Conway. There's not a lot of movement in that 7A rankings. I mean, you look at that top five. I like that top five. That top five in the 7A is good, really good. Um, Little Rock Christian came in. They knocked Fayetteville out of that. I think Fayetteville has had the scheduling disadvantage. Should probably see that come out and get a little bit better for them. But right now they're ranked below Little Rock Christian. The 7A West, if you look at the just how we've got things ranked, the 7A West is better this year than the 7A Central, which is something that hasn't happened for
yeah,
quite a while. If you
really is.
remember, it used to be dominant. It used to be 7A West when it was the
Dominated
6A
everybody.
West and the 5A West, and now it's the 7A West. This year, I think, is a little better and a little deeper than the 7A Central.
To quote Phil Collins, no more.
Right?
Yeah, it's Brian's. God, they're just a really good football team. Fun to watch too. They can play. Uh, well, moving on, number two, Bentonville. They're 7-0 against number three, Rogers. 7-0, battle of the unbeaten's.
So the question is the defense of Bentonville good enough to hold down the offense of Rogers enough to win the ball game? I mean, that's really the
Yep.
question that has to be answered. 70 twice in a row now for the Rogers Mounties. Um, Jeff Regan there on the ground through the air, one of the best players in the state of Arkansas. You got to rank him easily in the top five quarterbacks in the state, and he's just solid. Man, the Silpecki kid there at Bentonville is also putting up nice numbers, and Bentonville seems now. I'm just saying this. This could this could be wrong. I feel like that Bentonville is the more well-rounded team, but but that Rogers offense is potent. And I mean, when I say potent, I mean potent. They're different.
Only three teams that have put up any significant numbers against Rogers this year. That was Sheridan. They put up 40 and an 84-40 loss. Fayetteville 55 and a 56-55 loss. Bentonville West when they
Okay.
put up 42.
So let me
That defense is pretty good.
so let me just say though, Northside is not very good.
Nope.
Um, Muskogee is not very good, and North Little Rock is not very good. And at least right now, North Little Rock especially, they're getting better. But first game of the year, that that's a really hard matchup. Was a hard matchup there.
Bentonville's defense, they haven't given up more than 28 all year in a game. That's so
Well,
that's
and
going to
and
be
you
heck of a matchup.
look at their conference or look at their schedule. My gosh,
Yeah,
Tulsa Union, not as good as they have been, but still a
still a
really
good
good
football
team.
team. Conway.
Conway, the only loss that Conway has is to them, and that was a 41-17 game. Lee's Summit. Now consider that Bentonville went 0-3 against that same schedule last year. They're now 3-0. Harbor's much improved. Northside, Rogers Heritage, those two not great. And then you got Fayetteville. They came back, bounced back, and won that one. So right now, a win by Bentonville puts Bentonville in the driver's seat to win the conference. But that game with West, if Bentonville beat Rogers and West beat Bentonville, then you could have a three-way tie.
Just nuts.
Yep.
Moving on, number four, Conway. They're 6-1, hosting Pulaski Academy, 2-5. Go Wampus Cats.
Well, Conway is quietly, I believe, they're coming in to. I think they're really playing well.
They are.
Think they're kind of coming into their own. Um, Buck James over there. I mean, you can never count out a Buck James team. And yes, they got beat handily by Bentonville, but they've turned around since then and they've just won. And they've done it without Wesley Tapp at quarterback. Now, I don't know if Wesley Tapp has found his way back or not, but with that said,
They putting up numbers.
they're starting to really get things going down there. And right now they've got Pulaski Academy and then Little Rock Christian and then Bryant. You
Who?
expect that Conway should win both of those games. The Christian game being a little trickier than probably the Pulaski Academy game is, but you know it is still Pulaski Academy, and if you're going to sit here and count them out, you're probably going to get beat.
Yeah, I don't recommend it as much as I enjoy seeing PA getting beat. I do. Uh, Probably shouldn't say that, but I'm a Conway fan in this one.
Yeah.
All right, moving up. Next up, Bentonville West. They're number five at 5-2, hosting Rogers Heritage 1-6. Gonna be a tough one for Rogers Heritage.
Solid Bentonville West team this year. Very
Hmm.
solid. The two losses they have are to Bentonville, or not Bentonville, Rogers and Greenwood. That's it. Other than that, they've been as good as anybody in the 7A this year,
Scoring
and
40 plus points a game.
they definitely have. They've got it going. They've got it going. So, with that said, I feel like that they've got the edge in this one. Um, Yeah, no doubt. They do have the edge in this one, and unless something crazy happens, they're going to win.
Yeah, I just don't. I'm agreeing with you. I don't see it happening. Last up for the 7A, number six, Little Rock Christian. They're 5-2, taking on Little Rock Southwest at their place, who's 0-7. Gonna be
Yeah,
a tough night for Little Rock
yeah,
Southwest.
another tough one there for Southwest, and really not much of a matchup there for Little Rock Christian. As long as you don't go down there and do something crazy, you're going to win. And
Just want to go down there, don't get nobody hurt, get the lead, and get the starters out.
so the biggest thing for Christian was they set themselves up in that three spot in that conference with that win over Pulaski Academy. They've beaten Cabot already. They come back last week with that North Little Rock game. That one right there could have changed the game right there. If North Little Rock had won that, that would have put the conference on its ear outside of the top two with Conway and Bryant. You could have seen that conference kind of go into crazy mode with whoever, however they, it would all
Yep.
fall. It would be a mystery. But with that win, Christian really put themselves in a position right now that they're probably going to be the three out of that conference.
Look at them standings real quick. Yeah, yeah, they're sitting there right now. They just got to take care of business, which their schedule. Conway's going to be a tough one, but
That Pulaski Academy game is what it's going to come down to for
yep,
them at the end of it. I mean, they're not going to be favored in that Conway
no,
game. And that Pulaski Academy game, that's a rivalry game. That's why they play it in week 10, and they got to figure out a way to win that one for sure and stay alive and not do something crazy in this Little Rock Southwest game. So anyway, that brings us to
yeah,
the
that's
end,
it.
right?
We're done, man.
Anybody got any questions or comments that we need to get to before we go? If
I
not, we're
don't.
going to go have some lunch,
Yeah, I'm starving. I know you. We've had a banana
right?
each. Got two for $1 at the gas station this morning. No, nobody else had chimed in. Uh, Bill, let's talk about those Northwest Arkansas teams. Sure going to be wet. Look, they're you can't knock them out. Like they're good football up there. I mean, big schools bringing in some great student athletes. I ain't mad at them for
Well, what
playing
he
good
was talking
football.
about was the weather. Weather's
Oh
going to
yeah,
be, yeah, the
yeah.
weather's going to be tough this week.
I wouldn't even think about rain. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
In fact, let's be amateur weathermen right now, and let's look at the weather forecast.
Hey, maybe we should get Jesse Hayes to do a weather clip for us. You think he do it for us every week? I
He,
thought
he might, he might. Who knows? Let me look at here real quick.
Storm Chaser with Jesse Hayes. Uh, he is from right here, Athens, Arkansas.
Yeah, he was on with Todd Jacobian last week
Yeah,
or
he
week
was. That
before.
was a good interview. That was a real good interview. And yeah, I need to call him see if he'd be interested in coming on here. It'd be good to talk to him because he knows high school sports too.
Yeah.
He's just as passionate as we are about it. That he just ain't working with us yet.
So it looks like it shows rain all weekend. It's showing
Yuck.
rain now. Let me see what the hourly looks like now. Rain moving in at 4 a.m. on Friday. So,
Hopefully there's a little rain down in Columbia County, so have some water around my deer stand. That'd be nice.
well, it looks like the whole state's going to be covered. So, anyway, well, guys, we do appreciate you joining us here on the Audible once again. I think tomorrow we will bring you our Razorback preview coming up this weekend. Um, man, all we can say is thank you right now, tuning in, watching, being a part. Again, we want to encourage you. Like, share, subscribe, and think about becoming a member of ASN. We're going to be doing a playoff preview that is going to be for members only. You'll also get the ASN Basketball Classic, 6 games all day long from Clinton. And then we will also be giving you member only content as we go. So join us, be a part of that. All you got to do is go over to YouTube, click the join button, and follow those instructions, and that'll do.
We'd
So
be happy to have you.
absolutely. Well, anyway, guys, appreciate you joining us here on the Audible. We will see you tomorrow.